Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Create Yourself Imagery, Intimacy, Innovation, a place where people from all walks of life and various backgrounds come to share their transformative personal and professional stories of restoration, confidence, clarity, and empowerment. They're here to share their helpful tools, resources, and affirming guidance. I'm Joyce Kyles, your global speaker, author, trainer, and coach. If you're ready to transition, transform, and thrive, this is the podcast for you. So, if this is your first time tuning in, then welcome. If you have been one of my longtime listeners, welcome back. And as I always say, tell a friend to tell two more friends to tune in. We always have a good time here. We are all things transition, transformation, and thriving personally, professionally. And it's something that I truly love about our show. And this week, as you know, for those who've been following me a while, I'm always excited about my guests each and every week. I'm very intentional about who I invite on the show because I believe that those who come have something to share that will help us to grow personally and professionally. This week is no different. I have the opportunity to bring Natoshia Anderson to us in our space this week. I am so excited for you to learn more about who she is, what she does. STEM is very important to me. And the more I spend time talking with women about STEM and STEAM and STREAM and what they all are and what they mean and what that looks like for us as women in these personal and professional spaces, I'm just always excited to connect with women who are actually doing the work and doing the work well. And so, without further ado, let me present to some and introduce to others, none other than Natoshia Anderson. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I oftentimes when people introduce me, I'm always like, "Who is that person?" But thank you so much for just giving others and myself a space where we can talk about all of the things that have given us a measure of success, whether that's personal or professional. Spaces like these where we can actually talk through what got us here, the internal work, the guidance that we've received from friends and or mentors, the advice we took, the advice we didn't, all of those things are so important. And I'm very appreciative that you exist.
Oh, well, thank you so very much. Likewise to you. And you do have ED
Yeah,
behind your name.
I do.
So, yes, ma'am. So, should we be calling you Dr. Anderson?
I mean, I have a doctorate in education, so I usually call myself Dr. Tasha because a lot of people, Anderson is a long name. So it's either Dr. A or Dr. Tasha. Either is fine.
Well, we're going to be calling you Dr. Tasha then from here on out
Sure.
because here's what I know for certain. That takes work. There's a
Yeah.
lot of work that goes into getting a PhD on any level. So I always want to honor that. And then if a person tells me to, oh, just call me T or just call me, Dr. Whatever, at that point, then I do. But for the purposes of today, you earn that. So you're going to be Dr. Tasha.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'm about it.
All right. So let's just jump right on into it. Please tell our listening audience a bit about your Create Yourself journey, what got you here, what keeps you here. So for the next few minutes, the floor is yours.
Okay. Well, hi everybody. I'm Dr. Tasha. I am the CEO and founder of the Anderson Strategy Group. And the Anderson Strategy Group is all about bringing STEM education to Black and Brown children everywhere. And how we do that is partnering with schools, nonprofits, and corporations so that they can partner together to provide those opportunities in a way that is sustainable for the communities, for the schools, for the other organizations that are working to afford those opportunities for kids. The more we have the opportunity to bring STEM into rural areas, inner city areas, or areas where STEM is not a thing, and we make it a thing, the more opportunity we have to fill the pipeline that everybody keeps talking about. And so I'm about that life. I'm a former engineer turned educator and now entrepreneur. So that's what we do. And then how did I get here? I mean, how much time you have? but but I think it was, I always knew growing up that I was going to be a teacher in some form. I didn't know it was going to look like what it looked like um, now. Um, I grew up in a family full of teachers. Everyone from my grandmother to my cousins right now are all educators. My auntie owns a chain of daycare centers in South Carolina. So it's like education is our thing. And so I'm the only person in my family to actually have a doctorate. But that doesn't mean that we have a plethora of of degrees. So it's just I went into engineering because it was fun. It was the discovery aspect, like what can I build and what can I know and what can I uncover and what can I discover. And so I was an engineer, a practicing engineer for 10 years. And then the thing that kept standing out to me was that why am I the only one here? Why am I the only Black person in this space? Why am I the only woman in this space? Why am I the only Black woman in this space? So I made it my mission to literally reproduce myself in real time. I went back to teach, or went to teach high school, or went to teach in K-12. I taught high school for 2 years, and I taught middle school for 2 years because I really wanted them to see that, A, we really do exist. There are Black engineers and Black women engineers at that. So you can see me, feel me, touch me, ask me the questions, like what are the things, all of the things. And so that was sort of my first create me moment, where when I left engineering and went into teaching, it was such an eye-opening experience to me. I grew so much in my understanding of how our education system actually works, the things that do work and the things that don't work. And what I saw was both exhilarating and sad at the same time, if you know the two feelings can coexist. And so everything that I've done since that point um, has kind of led me down this path of, hey, we have to come alongside the people, our school systems and our corporations. They need each other, yet they don't talk to each other. So if we're going to put together a STEM program or programming, these two people, these two groups need to talk to each other and really be in relationship. And they often aren't. And so I kind of fell into this space where I was trying to put together a STEM program, and my school was like, oh, that's great. We don't have any money. Okay. So I was like, well, I'm going to go find us some money. I knew nothing about corporation partnerships. I knew nothing about partnerships in general. I wasn't even thinking about a grant because I didn't know how to write one. It was all of those things where it was just like, but here's what I know. I know people who work in this industry, and I know those are the very same people that I want to be a part of my event. Okay, let me go have the conversation. And that's literally what I ended up doing. I'm having conversations with people. Here's what I'm trying to do. Are you aligned with this mission? If you are, hey, this is what it's going to take to do this. And more times than not, and maybe it was it was one of those God ordained moments where they said yes. And so a $5,000 here, 10,000, $15,000 here, we had a program. And people were like, at the school, were like, how did you do that? And I was like, I just had conversations with people. I just, you know, and so, but then, the more I'm doing the thing, I'm talking to my friends and they're all like, this is a business, right? Like, that everybody is not doing the things that you're doing. And I was like, oh no, girl, whatever, right? And I'm trying to get myself hired at other places, doing the very same thing, mind you, doing the very same thing. And I'm like, but there's all these limitations on you can't do this, you got to say it this way, you blah, blah, blah. And I was finding myself so frustrated because I'm like, am I trying to do a good thing? And I'm questioning myself because now I feel like I'm being boxed in. And that's one of the things where I've learned about myself during this journey is that I don't operate in those spaces. Like I'm always going to be the one who's going to be like, oh, is that the box? I don't want it. I don't want it. Um, and so I will find a way to go through it, under it, around it, over it. I don't know. It just doesn't work for me. And so the last time this happened to me, I said, never again. I'm never going to work for somebody who is going to want to put me in a box and say, these are the parameters that you must work within. And the minute you step outside of that, they kind of slap you back down. It was so trying to my soul. Waking up every day was hard, to go to a place where I knew that I wasn't going to grow. I wasn't going to be stretched. I wasn't going to be, I just wasn't going to be showing up as my best, doing the thing that I knew that I could do, because I have evidence of it. Like this is it. I'm not new to this game. I've raised a lot of money, or at least for some people, I've raised about $5 million in terms of partnerships. I've put together 50 plus partnerships for schools and nonprofits and other organizations around the United States of America, um, for this sole purpose. So I know of which I speak. Um, and it's a calling for me. I love it. I love it when we can have sustainable programming for our kids. Because again, it's always for me, it's a part of my personal mission, but also like these kids, our kids are brilliant. They're smart. They're amazing. And if you give them the opportunity to stretch and grow, man, they will meet you there and exceed it every single time.
Yes, yes, yes to all of that. This is this is wonderful. You know what? If it wasn't for the fact that I do have a few other questions that I want to ask you, we could really stop now. But still, um, so many gems that you dropped, so many. And first of all, just kudos to you for not allowing yourself to be boxed in.
Yeah.
And so I love that. I love when you said, is that the box? I don't want it. Because there are people who listen to this podcast, and one of the things that I'm really adamant about is wanting people to leave knowing that I can do X, Y, and Z. That's why I always say transition, transform, and thrive. You can transition from one great thing that you were doing and transition into something else that is even more in alignment with your mission, your calling, your purpose. And you represent what it means to transition, transform, and thrive. Just the things that you're doing, the way that you've presented it, the way that you have gone out and said, you know what? Oh, you said this is the reason that this can't be done. Let me show you that it can be, and I'm going to show you that I'm the one that did it. So I love that our children, because I'm a woman of color as well. And so our Black and brown children, we just disproportionately don't have the tools and the resources that others have and the opportunities to see ourselves in a certain way.
Yeah.
And so I'm so pleased that you have been very intentional about making sure that they see us and that
Yes.
they can see themselves in the work that we're doing. You know,
Yes.
um, I made sure that I've watched Hidden Figures, I don't know, probably a half a dozen times, but
You and me
you
both.
know, okay, but there were so many young people who were not, and still not, and adults who are not familiar with who Dorothy Vaughan is. They're
Yeah.
not familiar with Mary Jackson. They're not familiar with Katherine Johnson. And the contributions that they've made, that so massive, so crucial, you know, could have possibly not happened. NASA being able to have someone go into orbit without our brilliant minds. And so what you're doing is transformational.
Oh,
And my hope, my prayer, my desire is that it continues to grow and elevate, and that our children and our adults can see, yes, this is possible. Money can be raised. I know that's work. I know fundraising is work. So let us be clear. So listening audience, we're not saying that it's
oh,
easy, but we're saying that it's possible.
and I would wholeheartedly agree. I wouldn't say any of these things that I've done were easy, and there were unnecessary block and blockades put in place to hinder the success. Um, but there's something that's in me that exists that says, if you tell me I can't, I'm going to adopt the attitude of watch me. Um, and sometimes that's worked out in my favor. And I mean, if we're being true to full disclosure, and sometimes it hasn't. But I've also said to myself that every opportunity that I've decided that I'm going to take up is an opportunity for me to learn and or grow. And let me see what's going to happen here. Who will I be in the middle of it? Who will I be at the end of it? And I'm just curious enough to want to see, you know? Um, and I'm also, I've learned how to be self introspective, where it's like, okay, where am I now? Am I still feeling the same way? Or, whether that's good, bad, or indifferent, or I'm like, I am mad, I'm pissed off, I'm whatever it is. I'm I'm intentional enough with myself to do that work, right? Because I don't want to walk into a place and be angry and mean and nasty to people. I want to be able to understand what I'm feeling and why I'm feeling it. And then be able to articulate that to the people who I'm in, we're in relationship with, we're in covenant with, we in this place together. What is it we're doing, and why am I, saying what I'm saying in the way in which I'm saying it? And so give people that understanding and then understand it myself. So I've had to do a lot of work. Like I'll tell you, like there's been therapy sessions, right? There's been work, internal work on myself, because if I'm going to do this work and it's about storytelling and it's about really the ask, right? You have to ask, hey, in order for this program to work, we need 30K, right? We need 15K, we need 45K. You have to be, I want to, it's not even bold. I really want to say direct, but I don't mean direct. And because when people say direct, people are like, oh, she just rude. She just mean. She just saying it all hard. And I'm like, no, that's not exactly what I mean. I mean, state your case plainly, simply. Tell the story, sure. But like at bottom line is, this is what it's going to take to get this program off the ground. In 3 years, we want to be here. Here are the measures, all the things, right? You don't have to fluff it. If you tell the story well and you tell the people what you need from them, we would like this amount to do these things. We would like 20 of your people to come on these certain dates to do these things. People will give you a yes or no when you make it plain. You write the vision, make it plain.
Yeah, I think that is wonderful key advice, no matter what profession you're in this, especially in this entrepreneurial space. You know, it's so important that we articulate ourselves and that we sound confident and that we're clear on what it is that we want. Because if you don't sound confident and clear in it,
Yeah.
then it's going to come across to the person or people that you're reaching out to is, okay, well, she's not quite sure. It's not, especially if it's something that is new, or I'm not really sure about who you are.
Yes.
And it is, and it's a way of having to, sell yourself, so to speak, to
Yeah.
sell the idea, sell the product, sell the service. But you have to be compelling. And yeah, like you said, telling the story is only a part of it, but also being clear, being direct. And you're right, people will hear that word direct and they already oftentimes will put a negative connotation
Yeah.
with it. And that's not what we're saying when we're saying being direct. We're meaning be confident, be clear. This is what we need. Be compelling. And you're right. Either they're going to say yes or they're going to say no. And I always say that no, it's still the next opportunity is, maybe it's not now for you. There are people who say that they are looking forward to all the no's that they can get because they know the yes is down the line. I am a person who I go to everybody with the expectation of it being yes. Like I just believe you're gonna say
Right, because
yes.
who I love that so much, and I don't think I've heard I don't know if I've heard somebody say I go in all the time with the expectation of yes. But can I just tell you right now, that is now going to be my adopted mantra for the rest of the year.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, I know that no's are going to happen. No's have happened to me this
Right,
year. They're going to happen some more.
right.
But I go in with, yeah, this is going to work. This is,
Yeah, I
I'm who you need.
yeah,
And this is the program that you need.
yep,
And this is why there you have to just believe. I genuinely do just believe that you have to have that attitude. Um,
yep,
and the reality is everyone is not going to say yes
sure.
because everyone doesn't. I don't say yes to everybody, you know,
Same,
but
same.
but I have that attitude because I really strive to believe in the glass being half full,
Hmm.
and I've been very intentional on living my life, especially in this new season of life that I'm in. I'm 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 half full, if not all the way full, and tipping over. That's
I love living in the overflow now. Like
yes,
let's just call it now. We
yes.
live in the overflow.
That's right.
Hmm.
I receive it and accept it and walk in it. So,
Hmm.
with that being said, we're getting towards the end of our interview time together, but there are a couple of things that I do want to ask. Number one, just what has been some of the most gratifying pieces of the work that you do? And then maybe on the flip side, some of the more disheartening, maybe challenging parts.
Ooh, okay. Gratifying. Seeing the looks on the faces of the faculty, staff, students, when I tell them, hey, here's this opportunity, and this is it's free for you, right? Or here's the minimal cost, and I can see a school get so excited about the potential that it's going to bring to their students, and then being there on launch day. Because one of the things that we do really well at the Anderson Strategy Group, my company, is that we don't just sort of, okay, here, we don't do a drop off. We are there through the whole process. So we get to see the planning, the implementation, and we're there on launch day. So we can see the looks on the kids' faces when they bring out whatever it is they're bringing out, and then we will actually come back and do your check for you. Like, is this healthy? What things do we need to change? So because stuff happens, and so it never gets old. It absolutely never gets old. Now, the disheartening and disappointing side is when you do all of the work and for whatever reason it doesn't work, right? So you're wondering, like, what happened there? Why didn't that, like you have a vision for it, you can see it, but that isn't the reality of what has transpired. And I often think, the question for me is, what did I miss, right? What piece didn't I get, didn't understand? Maybe I didn't see it, maybe I didn't want to see it. And then, of course, it's what lessons can I take away from this? Because again, I don't want to do it again. And so I want to be able to learn those lessons, learn them fast, but really learn them, and well, you don't know, but at the same time, I take disappointment hard. And I mean it. It's like I sit in it for a little bit, I ruminate, but then I have to release.
And I can definitely relate to all of that, all of it. So, with that being said, now those that clicked on to listen to the podcast, you see all of her information below the photo. So, you'll know how to get in touch, all the many different ways to get in touch. But I always
Mhm.
like to ask my guests if, of all the ways to connect, if there is one that stands out the most. Would you prefer to be contacted on LinkedIn the most, or the website, or Instagram? Like what works best for you?
That's actually a really good question. You can contact me on LinkedIn. My handle on LinkedIn is Dr. Toshia, Drtoshia. So you can look for me there. Or Natoshia Anderson, EDD. Look for me there. You can also go to my website at the andersonstrategygroup.com. You can contact me from there. It doesn't matter, either one works. I'm checking them both daily, so I will get your message.
All right. Well, those are the many ways that we can connect to Dr. Natoshia Anderson. My last and final question, and you actually answered a lot of it already, but I would like to close as I ask all of my guests. You share so many wonderful gems, but if there are any tools, resources, words of encouragement, anything that you would definitely want our audience to leave with today, I yield the floor to you to share your final thoughts.
So, one of the things that I've learned about me is that again, like I said, I like to ruminate on things, but I can also get stuck there. What helps me is meditation. Is it takes you outside of yourself. But I also do affirmations to, of course, build myself back up again. So those two things really work for me. And if you need additional help, I've been in and out of therapy for probably 20 years now, because there's just something about talking to someone else, um, and then them asking you the hard questions and you doing that inner work. It matters, especially if you're moving into leadership, or you're moving into a new space, or you're moving into entrepreneurship, or you're moving into, all of the things, you're getting married, or these transitions that we have in our life that can cause our triggers to come out. Because everybody has one, at least one, whether you know it or not. And therapy is a way for you to do the inner work so you can be a healthier you, so that the pivot or the change or the upgrade or the thing doesn't become the thing, and you can stay grounded in who it is that you were actually called to be.
I love it. I love it. I love it, especially with me being a person who speaks so much on leadership and wellness and, what does human leadership, human-centered leadership and wellness strategies really look like? And I'm definitely a person who loves meditation and affirmations and speaking life over myself and those that I connect with. So this was just absolutely amazing. Therapy, I tell everyone, go to therapy. Folks will tell folks that, well, people say that you're crazy if you go to therapy. And I say, you crazy if you don't go.
Right. Either way, either way it go.
So look, give it a chance, give
Okay.
it a chance. So I love that you have lifted up so many of those points and that these are the types of things that my listening audience loves to hear and be reaffirmed that this meditation, that this centering of ourselves and really learning and staying in tune with ourselves and all the things associated with that is helpful for our overall wellness. So thank you so, so very much for being our special guest this week. I told you all you were going to be in for a treat, and you were. So thank you so much, Dr. Anderson, for being our special guest.
You're so welcome, anytime, anytime.
And to my listening audience, thank you, thank you, thank you, because without you, I could not do what I do. So, as I tell you all each and every week, go forward and create the life that you desire and deserve. And remember that you can do so at any age. Let's continue to transition, transform, and thrive together.